for brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Very quick show today. All right, welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every midnight Eastern, that's 9 p.m. Pacific, for about an hour each night, where we have a conversation about guns, and we have some hosts. We got Angelina jumping in from California. Thanks for joining.
Hello from California.
I am in Arizona, right next door, and nobody else joined in today. It's Tuesday, isn't it? So usually the Tuesday crew comes in to help with the two Second Amendment issues, so we'll see if they are straggling in or not. But otherwise, we have an audience, and this is an experiment in the new media. We're on episode, I don't even have it open, somewhere, 557. 557, yesterday was 556, and we've been doing this show now for a long time. And the goal is to play with the media a little bit, encourage people that are out there considering themselves Second Amendment advocates about, this is the way that you can play with the internet and use some of the tools out here, become more than just audience. So with that in mind, we are watching the audience over on the YouTube side where we host the show. We're using that tool, but it is a bloated, dying relic of a social media platform. So pay less attention over there as we can and try to pay more attention to the Gun Channel side. Gun Channels is a platform that we built going on 5 years ago now. It's built on a structure, a piece of software that has some pretty good strength to it, I guess, and features and things. And we have it set up to be a channel setup so people can build a project or a area of interest, or if they have a YouTube channel or a blog, a radio show or something, they can set it up over here and have it on a platform that is designed for firearms owners, something that was built by shooters for shooters. So anyway, that's what we're doing. That's what we're all about. And like I say, we're trying to involve the audience as much as possible. So we want to thank Pants and Troy and Steven and the others who are over on the Gun Channel side tonight, some of the regulars. And it's always good to see new names over there. And again, we're all watching the YouTube side also. We got 23 people joining in already. And we are looking for a co-host since we got ditched by Smeggy and Jimmy, Dano, and Bob. We could use somebody to help out with the Second Amendment Tuesday, 2A Tuesday. So let us know over on the Gun Channel side. Let's see, it's Tuesday. We were talking off air about some awesome secrets. I don't know how much of that you're going to talk about with people. I guess we talked about a few things. But what's going on in the Owl and Anchor area of California?
Well, like we were talking about some of the secrets, there's some new patches, and 2 of them came in today, so those will go up. I put 10 of them up for sale because I always second guess myself, so I was like, oh, what if no one buys these and they're shitty? So I put 10 up and they sold out, so I guess it'll be a good drop.
I told her those are sympathy buys, people that are like, look at, she tried. And they bought the patch anyway. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure it was it's probably my family. My mom will probably have 10 patches tomorrow. But yeah, so that's up there. The Blue Waffle preview has been released for everyone following the Blue Waffle saga, which is probably just me. So yeah, exciting things. Exciting patches. Some new sticker designs are coming. So yeah.
Pretty cool. I was thinking about your Come and Take It, the Texas one with the cannon.
Right.
Gonzalez flag?
Yeah, it's the Gonzalez flag.
So I think those things are kind of cool because I'm a fan of my designs are usually a little obscure, unless you know what it is, could be anything. A lot of them I think look like European, whatever those little ovals are that Europeans have on their cars, or something about some kind of running thing, or just, they could be anything for bicycling or canoeing. Some of mine are just kind of like numbers and shapes and things, and unless you're a gun person, you don't know. So anyway, I think that's why that flag one is kind of cool. Somebody could have that in their office or whatever, and then if someone scrutinizes it, they might go, "Hey, what's up with that?" I doubt the real ones would fuck around and find out, and then that can start a conversation if they got the time, if it's opportune.
Yeah, and I mean, I like flags too. Like, I have a flag boner, so doing stuff like even like the Liberty Series thing. So that's like something that, is like a little dream project of mine, but it's not going super well. But yeah, it's like a flag thing because I like flags.
And it looks like John Z snuck in here, somehow used a loophole to gain access to the chat. Thanks for jumping in and being a co-host for us tonight.
You got it. You know how New York City is. If you're doing something wrong, we're okay with it.
I like that mentality.
Okay.
That's a liberal mindset.
I like that.
All
How's
right.
everybody tonight?
Pretty good. And how are you?
Not bad, not bad.
I am looking for the notes, which I didn't even open earlier. And today's Tuesday, so we talk about Second Amendment and state of the state. So we need a state to state about.
What about New York, since we got a New Yorker?
Been quite a while since we did New York, and since John's here, he must have been prepared with a, I don't know, half an hour thesis on New York and New York's gun laws, both current and historic.
Wow, you sound like my teachers back in school. I didn't listen to them.
Well, you did take the link. You accepted the link, and in the Gunshells TOS.
Dun dun dun.
All right, so but yeah, we could do New York again. We haven't done that in a bit, and obviously there's things changing all over the place. Second Amendment Tuesday, though, there is quite a few things happening out there. I'm trying to think. I've been working on the computers here, listening to chats most of the day, and there have been quite a few chats happening stuff about things.
That's good.
I suppose. Why don't we throw it out there to everybody? What kind of stuff is out there? Because the first thing that'll come to mind is, I don't know if he's out there. He might be making an open-faced hot dog. But there's a Second Amendment rally coming up in Ohio, or is it Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania. The PAFOA.
So what is that? The Pennsylvania
Firearms
Owners
Association.
Okay, and they've got one coming up.
It's taking place on, I believe, 3rd Avenue on the backside of the Capitol.
And that's on a Monday the 20th. No,
correct. Hold
30.
on.
Monday the 30th, and it's in conjunction with the Gun Owners of America. So it should be a decent one with some media behind it. So, of course, the number of people that show up at something like that, where we can anticipate having some media, everybody's participation is always useful. But in a place like that, I always ask people to consider, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but when you're talking to your people at the gun shop or at the range who are going to blow you off and say, oh, yeah, that's interesting, ask them the last time they went to a sports somewhere out of town, or, how much they factor into their budget to go watch some sports happen. And I don't know how sports work, but you don't plan ahead of time. You don't know that your team's going to win, right? So all of a sudden your team wins, and now you're budgeting to go watch them play, right? That kind of thing happens. So the Second Amendment's as important as their sports. Maybe it's worth throwing some of that emergency sports budget over to that. And if it ain't sports, maybe it's their kid going to some horse racing event. I don't know. Whatever it is their passion is, usually they can find an emergency budget if there's an opportunity to participate in something out of state. And maybe it's time to consider the Second Amendment one of those things that's worth participating in.
Totally.
Right, so the PA rally, like you said, is Monday, April 30th at 10 a.m. at the State Capitol Rotunda in Harrisburg. What about also the one?
Now, I am certain that I heard that Midnight Range is going to have one of them little carts, and he's going to have open-faced hot dog sandwiches available to anybody, just for free.
With all the trimmings.
Two faces for the two faces of Bloomberg.
He's got more than two faces, unfortunately. But also, what's his name had mentioned something going on for kids and families a couple of days ago.
Well, thanks for being so specific. So there's a thing for kids and families happening somewhere. That is good news. I'm here.
Who mentioned that? Mr. Wild Theory. Who the hell mentioned that? Oh my god.
I think you're making it up.
I'm lost. I almost had it. You guys interrupted my brain process.
Family friendly is happening out there in the world. Always a good thing.
Somewhere.
Over the rainbow.
A friendly event. See you there.
So, Second Amendment stuff. We had a pretty decent chat earlier with Ghost, talking about what was the real topic? I think of that one was gun owners who aren't necessarily pro 2A. So that it was interesting. And since we're talking about Second Amendment stuff, and I like to geek out towards the encouraging content creators to do their thing, we're at a time right now where the platforms are dying and falling apart. And ideally, well, not ideally, but I suspect that what'll happen is when the platforms die, people will lose interest in going to a giant platform. People are savvy enough with their phone and their apps. Whoever is not muted, mute, so it doesn't be weird. But people are savvy enough with their apps that they're going to be able to navigate around the web and find wherever people might be putting out. And the way people share things, and I think Sandhill's example earlier, or at least the example I heard about earlier that happened over, I guess, while we were all at the show, but he had an example of a video that went viral and got a couple of 100,000 views, real close to 200,000 views on a video he put out. That phenomenon doesn't require YouTube. That can happen wherever something gets shared around. It's the sharing around that's the useful tool that isn't going to go away when YouTube or Amazon or eBay or any of the other big ones out there would fall. If the internet structure fell down, it would fall down. It would be tougher, but we have the ability to get around. And anyway, I think it's real important for people to put their stuff out there. Maybe not important, but maybe valuable is the right word. It's useful for people to put their content out there. So since I'm thinking 2A stuff, as I say, I'm going to think more about that type of encouragement. And again, I'm going to ask people to listen to Ghost's show from earlier. I think it turned into pretty useful stuff. People playing devil's advocate and talking both sides of an issue. It was a pretty decent chat.
Yes, that was a very good chat. And also Calaveras 32 Special just reminded me that was Dead Horse that mentioned that event.
Oh, you're talking about the gun show in Utah.
The gun show in Utah, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a very cool sounding thing. That was on our show yesterday.
Correct.
So everybody was listening to this show remembers that. But yeah, that sounded really cool.
That's why I was getting frustrated. I couldn't remember what it was, and it was just less than 24 hours that I heard it with you guys.
That's what Gun Channel's all about. You have trouble remembering something, a heavily armored pickle runs over, reminds you.
Roger that. What a pickle he is.
So then Rick just had an interesting show, too, with his assortment or conglomeration of guests. Did you watch that one at all?
Yes, sir.
And their different opinions on the NRA show. I thought that was pretty interesting. And get people from the gambit of, oh, I wish I could go, to, no, I have no interest in going, to curious to see if there's any fireworks with the tensions, internally. But I don't know. You do have quite a few people watching tonight and participating in the chats. What are people's opinion on NRA? Is it just going to be a fireworks show? Has Yankee said anything? I don't watch Yankee stuff. So is anybody out there aware if Yankee's going to succumb to Matt and I asking them to go?
I don't listen to Yankee stuff.
We don't talk to Yankee very long. He jumps on the show minutes before we go live. We go live if he sticks around for a moment or two after. I'm not even kidding, a moment or two after. So we talked for a moment, a little bit longer than normal after the show this week because he's moved and nobody had talked in a while, and Matt and I had met up, and I'm really hoping to get all three of us in a room together. I think that'd be cool after like 9 years or whatever since I met Yankee now and I met Matt, and then neither one of them are like fake. They're both human beings, I think. So I figured NRA would be a good opportunity. Matt can actually get to it. Yankee can certainly get to it if he wanted to, and it's possible I could get over there. So
I'm
curious.
I'm just gonna repeat what most people have already. I'm just gonna repeat what most people have already said. NRA needs to clean up its hallways. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying don't support them. I'm not saying uh talk trash about them, because the other side is using that to split parties. So we just need to find a way to try to get the NRA to clean up their hallways. They're still a resource to us, believe it or not.
I think I agree with that.
I don't think anybody's advocated doing anything annoying or not.
Well, there's a whole fuck NRA movement, but that's like gun owners, not
Right. You're talking to like, we hate the NRA and they've been traitorous. Those people don't have the balls to show up to NRA and do anything. And I'm not trying to incite them. I'm just saying they are typically your keyboard commandos. The people like Mac who have freaking actually quite a bit on the line. I mean, I know the man, and he's got employees. He's got his own fame and fortune. More importantly, his family's future and stuff on the line. He's definitely got it on the line. He's put his opinion out there, and he's made it clear. He's has drawn a line in the sand and is not unclear about his position on that line. Those guys, I don't think they've said anything like insightful. They've kind of sounded, I haven't watched everything they put out, but they're sounding like they want to do what they can with their audience and the attention that they can gather to try to actually change the NRA, to get them to realize that there's a portion of the gun owners that don't appreciate the way they're running it.
Right, like some of the things he had mentioned on what's his name's chat with the gripes.
Yeah, on Eric, I don't know. Somebody posted that on the main page. I didn't watch it because dude was wearing the Every Second Matters shirt, but I'll probably come and watch it because I do Dano's like summary of it.
Oh, you're talking about the short little dude with Every Second Matters t-shirt. Yeah,
the dude who makes the t-shirts. Yeah. So anyhow, that was the one that I was thinking about, because it sounds like that in that video they weren't asking anybody to do anything to get themselves kicked out of NRA. I think they want people to go to NRA and start conversations and let them know that there's not 100% satisfaction with the way that the direction of the NRA is right now.
And I think that's one of the things that's being portrayed in a good light, where people are being asked to come there and speak their mind.
Well, I don't think Mac's being asked to come there and speak his mind.
No, not Mac. When Mac talks to other people.
Yeah. When he's encouraging people to wear the shirt or whatever.
Well, he's not the worst person to be there. I mean, he makes a sale and gets his mind spoken. Maybe he changes somebody's way of thinking, Every person matters.
Yeah, that horse has got it summed up pretty good on the gun channel side. And that's, I think, what I was trying to say, is the ones that are the most adamant saying F the NRA are the ones that don't really do anything and haven't given a dime to the NRA or the other organizations. He's also saying, if you want to say F Wayne LaPierre, then he's okay with that, but don't put that in the basket with the NRA. And that's, I think, a position that's a clearer way to put the position, right? People aren't satisfied with the couple of individuals that are becoming the figureheads. And it's from what it sounds like, at least, and it's tough to know, I guess, because there's not, I don't know if there is an actual way to get information from them, but it sounds like those guys are kind of rogue. Like they'll make a decision, while the one dude's in the airplane flying from here to there, those guys are out making a press release. So, without letting anybody know, they're just out doing, changing direction of the whole place. If that's the case, then yeah, they're representing 5 million people. I don't think 5 million people are in unison saying, yeah, go nuts, guys, go get them.
Well, just like you guys were mentioning on Ghost Tactical Show about the NRA on the NRA ILA. There's a difference in their actions. And I think that's what needs to be separated.
Clover saying the direction and tactics of the ILA, legislative arm, whatever, is his problem. But again, I don't even know if it's the whole arm because, well, I don't know. I don't really know all the ins and outs or who makes the calls and, what's done by committee. But from what I understand, it's for the frustration from the people who get elected in the NRA. The frustration is the way that LaPierre and the other guy run around being the voice of the NRA, quote unquote, and get listened to. So even if they aren't the official position of the NRA, if they go out on TV and say the NRA is for XYZ, tomorrow the NRA is supposedly for XYZ.
Which is kind of ironic when they, especially versus when they do the commercials showing that all the voices of the NRA are the actual members.
Yeah, talk about frustrating for all of the members, right? All of us. Yeah. Like, hey, wait a minute. We want that to be the case, but we also don't want somebody as a spaz up there running around. So again, I think they're what I understand of the way that they're going to approach it this year. The guys who are unhappy with their current NRA positions on stuff, I'm looking forward to seeing what the result is. The last time it was the October Rebellion or whatever, the October Revolt or something, and that wasn't necessarily violent, but it wasn't like polite, I guess. It was rude and people got upset, and the organization took a blow. I don't know if the organization needs to take a blow. I mean, that's one way for things to change, right? When something happens abruptly, but I don't think we're in a place where we need to see weakness in front of the attacks by Bloomberg and the like. I'd like to see us incorporate some of the encouragement from the grassroots pro 2A people and see that bolster the NRA so that they become the glue that gets all the FUDs and all the people who are kind of like fair weather Second Amendment advocates, and gets those people on board with our crazy fanatical shall not be infringed night strike lifestyle. Don't you think the NRA could do that? They could be that glue?
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
That's fair.
All right, well, Smeggy and Jimmy both talk more than y'all, so.
And they're not even here.
We all miss Jimmy and Smeggy.
Almost Jimmy and Smeggy. All right, well, let's
take some of this dead air and text Smeggy because he said he was going to be here. Now I'm getting dead air.
Well, like Clover Tech said, the scare tactic, give us money now where you lose your rights, but then you lose your rights anyway. What kind of approach is that? Exactly. Like G Webb said, let's get the FUDs, let's get all the night strikes, let's get everybody on the same page. And let's use the NRA to our advantage rather than giving the anti-gunners and the left and those nut jobs on that side more ammunition. Because they're going to say what they're going to say anyway.
They are, and they're going to say things that aren't even true just because they're just like opening their fucking mouths. But yeah, I mean, I think I think that the wrap up of this whole thing is basically like what John was saying, that the NRA's got to clean up their hallways. I mean, but we're all going for the same thing. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. So stop getting ridiculous. That's what I'm going to say.
Right on.
And then, do you have something to add to that, G, or?
Oh, no, I've been trying to read the chat out here, but I've been distracted. I'll show you why. Because we know what Midnight's fascination is with cutting a hot dog long ways and turning it into an open face sandwich. And
right.
The pickle is right next to him. So I'm worried. Got a knife right there on his icon, too. The pickle is armed, so I'm just hoping he can defend himself.
Hopefully.
You're not
all right, well, while you catch up on the comments, I think we should move forward to our next segment, which is the state of the state, and we're gonna do the motherfucking Empire State today. But before that, we have a member of the day again. I mean, we had one before, but I was just picking them randomly. So today it is Rick's Life as I See It. I guess that's really the channel.
Yeah, now we're subbing, or we're promoting their YouTube channels, even though YouTube's a dying, bloated, dead platform. We're promoting their channels because all these guys are coming up on 1,000. So there's all kinds of efforts. Man, I really hate the idea of as much fun as it sounds and as much as theoretically sound as the idea seems. YouTube hates it. They track people that hang out together. Trust me. Again, if we're just sitting there participating in these chats and stuff, they know who hangs out with each other. If all of a sudden everybody's consistently linking at times, and definitely don't click ads in unison. That kind of stuff gets people banned. Some of the people haven't been around for the waves of that over the years, but that becomes a thing. People talk about it, and then channels go away. Like they take channels down for manipulating the system. So having a too coordinated effort on promoting channels is tough on the YouTube platform. It's one of the reasons it's a dying, bloated platform. But with that in mind, we're trying to promote the people's YouTube channels because there is this now, artificial hurdle of 1,000 subs, however many views. With the live chats, people can get the view time typically, but the subs is something we can periodically throw out there. We want to feature people, so we're featuring their YouTube channels for the next, couple of weeks.
All right. Well, thank you for that mansplain.
I call it YouTube splaining.
YouTube splaining. All right. So Rick is our YouTube channel of the day. So
pretty good dude though. Yeah, he jumps in, does the Rick's Life as I See It chat on Saturdays, which is cool. So we don't get enough live stuff on Saturdays or the weekends in general till Rick started kind of kicking that in the butt, and then started doing his chat for people with different abilities on Wednesdays, which has turned out to be a pretty interesting one as well. And he always jumps into the daytime chats, so people don't get enough credit, but there's daytime chats. Knives and others will run open lobbies all during the day. Pawnery and some of the others jump in while they're at work and keep the news of the day on the topics, and Rick will always come in and have interesting perspectives on stuff, with his whole lifespan of living in Europe, in England and stuff, and always has interesting perspective living out east. But he's not in New York.
Sure, keep rubbing it in.
All right, so state of the state, New York. What can you tell us about New York and guns?
No bueno.
Yeah, I know how that is. So what's the process for buying a gun in New York?
You want a long gun or a handgun?
I want a handgun, and then I want to go back and get a rifle.
Well, it's going to cost you the same amount of money with the same amount of paperwork, and it could take you up to a year. So basically, you've spent almost $500, and you haven't even had your fingerprints, and you haven't even had your an investigator contact you. Once you go in and do your fingerprints, that's another $100 out. So you're up to about $600. You had your investigator assigned to you, and they'll go over the paperwork, see if you're missing anything, see if they have any questions for you regarding the information that is in your application. And you could pretty much wait a month, 2 months, 3 months before you hear back from your investigator. So let's say that's about 6 months now. And after that, once your investigator tells you all your paperwork is fine, it could take up to another 6 months.
And then
there's no guarantee.
Buy it, and then
there's no guarantee you're even going to get it. But let's say you do
pre-buy it, or
let's say you do get your pistol license, right? Because To get a long gun, it's a permit because it's quote unquote less restrictive, even though you're going through the same process. So to get your handgun license, once you are approved, you'll get a notification from the weapons section at One Police Plaza, and you'll go
I know
down
that
there,
from
and
Ronald.
you'll go down there, and they'll issue you a pink slip, and you have 30 days from the date your pink slip is issued, not the date you get it, the date it's issued, to go ahead and purchase your firearm. And it's like a week or two after that, you have to go in back to One Police Plaza, if not the same day, and they'll register you in a system, and then you have your pistol permit, pistol license, and
And do you have to do that for
up to
every?
two. You're allowed up to two fire pistols on your permit.
So if you want to go for a third pistol, you got to do that again.
You got to do that for the second one. You're only allowed up to two.
Ah, shit.
So if you wanted 3, you'd have to sell one.
That's correct.
That's like Israel. You can have one, so you
Right.
can have a different one every once in a while. But
Oh, so you can only have 2 in total.
In New York City, on your pistol license, correct?
I noticed you're saying New York City. So if I go
Correct.
somewhere else, is it different?
Totally different, 100%. Nassau County, Suffolk County, you could have as many as you want, and you don't have to go through that entire process, but it will cost you just almost about the same, a little less. If you do it upstate, if you go up Western New York or further up, you deal with sheriff's departments, and they are more, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are more shall issue, not may issue. And you'll have it a lot quicker, and it'll cost you a lot less money. That's why I keep saying New York City is literally like New York City State. It's like its own little.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's like its own little concentration camp.
So are there like gun shops in New York City?
There's one gun shop in Manhattan next to One Police Plaza. And then there are 2 other weapons places, but they're also part of like ranges and stuff. And you and I not having weapons permit in there and not going over there unless you have the firearms license.
Oh, okay. So you pretty much can't do anything.
Well, you can. I mean, they have one place in New York City that's like a range, but you can't touch handguns. You could only use the long guns. And that's without having the permit for the long guns.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean,
and you're also only allowed to have up to 200 rounds at any given time. You can't have any more than that.
Oh, so it's a little bit of control and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I complain about California, but that seems worse.
Totally. That's why when people rag on California over New York, I didn't understand it too much. What is the process for concealed carry in New York? So concealed carry, you're not going to get unless you are on your knees for someone important, unless you have a lot of money, or you're in government in high position. So you're pretty much not going to get it unless you're outside of those. You're not going to get it unless you're working. So the jobs that allow you to have a gun, and most places in New York City, you can't even get a job now without having the pistol license. So the only other things that would allow you to have a pistol on you would be armed guard. And that's about it.
Well, God bless America.
Yeah, and then someone had a brain fart, and there was New York City. So
Well, I'll be there in May. I'm super excited.
woohoo!
Super stoked. So yeah, what else do we got to know about New York and guns? Do you guys have a roster like we have? Can you buy anything or only certain guns?
Whatever's available at the gun shop in New York City.
Oh, that's cool. So you can buy like pretty much any
No,
model of gun?
I said whatever's in that store.
Is there like a list of things they're only allowed to sell, or just whatever they got in the store you can't order shit?
Just what happens to be in the store. I really don't trust you only having the pink slip to go and getting the gun outside of New York and then coming back. I don't know how people do it if they don't buy it here in New York City. I'm not gonna speak to that, but yeah, the only store, the only gun shop that's there is literally right across One Police Plaza. And once you know what you want and know that they have it in that store, that's what I would recommend doing, is going to that store to get it. Again, I can't speak for what other people have done in order to get their firearms, whether they got it outside, out of state or what.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of little caveats attached to that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to speak to that since I don't know.
All right, cool. Well, that was New York. Thanks, John, for letting us know about Nazi Germany on the east.
Roger that.
Which is totally worse than California. So next time someone says, "Oh, stupid California," I'm gonna be like, "Dude, way better than New York. Way better.
New York City.
New York City, way better than New York City." All right, so
since we try to talk about a gun shop every day and John's here, tell us about a gun shop that you go to.
Oh, since it's New York City and I don't go to gun shops here, since there really aren't considered gun shops, the only one I can speak to, let's see, give me 1 second.
In 1792, the guillotine was used for the first time.
oh, that's pleasant.
April 25th. Because someone tried to buy a gun in New York, so they invented the guillotine, cut their head off.
I want to go to that One Police Plaza because I see it on one of my favorite shows, Law and Order, all the time. So I want to go there. So, I mean, can people like walk in this gun store, or you can't walk in there without a slip?
You can go in the shop.
I'm gonna go in the shop then.
Yeah.
Maybe Detective Benson will be in there.
Try to get some pictures. Are you
Okay.
about then, John?
Huh?
Are you going to talk about a shop?
I'm trying to get it right now, but
He's looking for a website.
my computer. Yeah, give me 1 second here. Yeah, I got to wait for the computer to do everything. I can't do anything here right now.
All right, so then we'll need a gun movie. I don't think we have one in the thing today. So if somebody out there on the gun channel side wants to recommend a movie, that'll be our gun movie of the day. First one that pops up there in the chat. And we can talk about history then while John's looking that up. So got a couple of different things. We got the regular old history for April 25th because the place I'm looking at switches over in New York probably. It says that that book, Robinson Crusoe, right? Written in 1719. I had no idea it was that old. So Robinson Crusoe, where he gets stranded on an island, right?
He does.
1719. That was 80 years before the first guillotine was used. That's crazy how old that book is. That's
Did you do that math in your head?
Yeah, because I can see it right here in front of me. But that's the kind of stuff that I think is interesting to see when stuff like that happens and you can kind of put things in perspective. Otherwise, looks like 1898, the United States declared war on Spain. I think the other day we were talking about something that's kind of prompted that war. It looks like we finally got pissed off and said, okay, let's go to war. 1898. 1938, so April 25th, and 1938 is when a seeing eye dog was used for the first time.
1938. That seems
kind of, I don't
very
know.
recent.
I mean, it had to happen before then. That had to be like the first official time that somebody wrote it down, but there's no way.
That's when the government regulated it.
Yeah, or like officially recognized the practice of training them or licensing them or something. This one was interesting. In 1960, the first submarine to circumnavigate the Earth underwater. Triton submarine. I'm assuming we did it. But I don't know what a Triton submarine is. Bob's out there. He'll know. 1971, the country of Bangladesh was established. So happy birthday, Bangladesh.
Happy birthday.
And that's a bunch of stuff over there. Now I got bad news. Today, April 24th, so I guess yesterday to today, whatever date it is for you, this is when Stoner died. So firearms designer most associated with the development of the AR-15 and the M16.
Wow.
Also the AR. Yep. He was 74. He was born in 1922.
Wow.
Also 1980. April 24th, 1980 was actually today and tomorrow. So both 24th and the 25th, Operation Eagle Claw was one of the first deployments of Delta Force. Carter attempted to free 52 hostages, embassy staff held in Tehran, and we had set up Delta Force in order to do this kind of stuff back then, and unfortunately, it was a catastrophic failure. People died, and the operation didn't go through, and took a black eye, learned from our failures. Delta Force got stronger. That's pretty much where SEAL Team 6 came from, and we became stronger. But unfortunately, that was what did it say? We lost 8 servicemen, 4 injured, and 1 Iranian civilian was killed. Lost 5 helicopters.
Wow.
6 actually, and an aircraft. So we learned a lot, and let's not forget stuff like that people take for granted and then suggest that our country is worse off than we really are. Any luck finding a gun shop you were looking for?
They don't really have. It looks like shit, but I'll show it anyway. Give me a second. I'll screen share it. They're not even showing the one next to One Police Plaza. They don't even.
The one with the revolver out front, like the revolver on the sign out.
That's the one I'm showing, but that's not it.
Okay, well, we're not seeing anything yet.
Well, because I'm only screen sharing now.
Look, I'm glad we didn't have any secrets. Okay, yeah, this is the one that everybody's familiar with. DB has told me that's the only gun shop. You're saying there's 2?
There's 3.
Oh, DB's a liar.
Well, the first one I was talking about is the one by One Place Plaza, but they don't have a website online apparently. There's another gun shop, but it's not gun shop. It's literally called the Beretta store, and there's no firearms in it.
They just sell Beretta merchandise, hats.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, wait, go back to that sign. What does that say?
Peter Caesar Alberti, first Italian settler, landed in New York June 2nd, 1635. La 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 la. Yeah.
Was that this guy the shop or something?
Huh?
Was that the owner of the shop or something?
Originally, maybe.
Yeah, I was wondering what it had to do with guns, but I'm still interested in it because that's like a Italian thing.
So this guy was actually on one of the news reports. Like they did a segment on him at one time. But they don't even show you anything inside the store. So outside of this guy, inside the store holding the shotgun.
Have you been in there?
A long time ago.
Is it a gun shop or is it different or what is it?
It's a little gun shop. They have some things downstairs which you're not going to see in the store. but they don't really give it any.
What? Now that sounds super interesting. Like
Well,
the-
all the places in New York City, everything is downstairs, especially the ones that have the ranges. They're all underground.
ranges.
Yeah, there are ranges
Is there a
in the
range
city
there?
of New York. There's a range in the city of New York. 20. Let me see. 20.
Well, hopefully Angela
Yes.
has a picture of that sign because it's pretty iconic. And then
20,
hopefully we'll go in there and
20
get.
West 20th Street. So this place, West Side Rifle and Pistol Range.
That's a long range. You shoot all the way down that street.
Well, that's not
I thought that purple
how
line
big it is.
distance.
So that right. So if you have a pistol license already, you can fire a pistol in this range. If you don't have it, the only things you can fire are shotguns and long guns. So they have deals and discounts for people who want to go in and take learn how to shoot a long gun or a shotgun. You pay a fee. They give you a discount if you buy it on Groupon. And to go to anything in New York City with anything with a gun is by appointment only. Don't waste your time going down there before you go because you will not get access to anything. So they have classes if you're from these places. If you want the CCW for Utah, they're very big on that, as you can see over here. It's $150 class for that, the CCW class for Utah. And they have self-defense and all that stuff, but you're not getting anything unless you book an appointment for something. So they have training, they have Leo certification, they have the unarmed guard, they have the armed guard class, CPR like most places, shotgun, handgun, law enforcement.
I can only assume that even with the limited number of people in New York that are probably even interested, just because there's the one shop, limited whatever ability, then that place is probably full all the time.
Yeah. People are getting their discounts, taking dates to go over there. They get the Groupon for 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't understand why they don't have more pictures and stuff, but so I'm guessing this is the owner. That's
Look
the
at that guy.
logbook. This is a police blotter. That's the book they use for sign-ins and all that. What's the matter? You don't like his tattoo sleeves?
No, I
No,
like
those,
that.
those
I
are real
got
tattoos.
tattoos.
Angelina doesn't like tattoos. She's against them.
No, I was making a joke that those are sleeves, but they're actually his tattoos.
Oh.
So you see over here, the handgun permit application, they charge you $200 if you're not a member of the range.
How much is it to be a member?
I don't know. I'm not wasting my money on that and paying somebody $200 to do a form I can do myself. Because eventually you're going to end up needing a lawyer to fight it when you get turned down. So they're not going to help you with that part. They basically just fill everything out for you and let you know when to go in for your scheduled appointments with the investigator and stuff. So they charge you $200 to help you fill out some paperwork a monkey could do. But because some people are nervous and they don't have a lot of people doing it, they charge that really high amount. So
got an NRA link.
How much of a factor do you think language is? Like if people are from New York, but a couple of generations in, so they still having trouble with multiple languages or whatever, and then resort to a service like this because they help facilitate, the maze of what you have to do paperwork wise. Because I would think somebody comes in, starts a business, gets successful, says, "Hey, I want to protect my interests here. Now I want to go figure out what the lawful way to get a firearm is." And then, like say, if it's a huge process, it might be a lot easier for them to.
it's not a huge process, especially if if you've built up a business and it's successful in New York City, yeah, it's a couple of pages to fill out. That's it.
Okay.
And maybe to get a couple of waivers and some things notarized. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
If they're anything like California, they probably have that form in like 30 different languages too. So.
No, it's just English.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have like maybe some informational pieces of paper that come with it, maybe in other languages, but it's all English.
Tardot makes a really good point here and asks why you haven't straightened out New York yet. We'll probably have you back on, I guess, at the end of the month, and we'll see how you're doing. But yeah, let's get this cleaned up. Let's fix some of this stuff already, huh?
Sounds good.
All right. So with that, what else we got? We got a movie of the day. We did get a suggestion, and here's what happens when you throw it out there like that. Somebody's going to be quickest, and it was Cycle Camp. So the movie of the day is Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. That's what happens when you experience new media.
Is that a porn?
No, that is Danny DeVito and his mom.
Like anti-porn.
Is that a porn? And the first words come out of G Webb's mouth is, "It's Danny DeVito and his mom."
Yeah. It could be. There's people into some weird shit, but
this movie's probably before you were born, so I don't think Angelina's seen it, I'm assuming.
What year was it? If it was before 1985, I have not seen it. Well, I just wasn't alive.
Sylvester Stallone and his mom, but I think Danny DeVito's in it too.
I'm out with Sylvester Stallone.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, not Danny DeVito. What? It's not Sylvester.
Oh, if it's the Arnold, I love the Arnold. He was my governor for a time.
Okay, I don't remember the movie that good, I guess. John, have you seen it?
What movie?
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Heck yeah. That was super funny.
Okay, it is not Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is Sylvester Stallone and his mom.
Correct.
And I don't know where I got Danny DeVito. I guess he's not in it. I just wanted Danny DeVito to be in it.
That's a fun. That came out around the same, I believe, the same time, if I'm not wrong. Throw Mama Off the Train.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. 1992 is when it came out.
Well, I don't know the exact year.
Well, I know it because I'm looking at it right now. It was 1992 that this movie came out. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. It's got 2 stars out of 5, and it's got 4 stars out of 10. And I don't know very many people that like it other than to make fun of it and to laugh about it. I can't imagine with it being about Stallone and his mom that it wasn't designed to be funny. I mean, it was supposed to be a comedy, right?
Yeah. Slapstick, I guess.
I must be with the Throw Mama from the Train. That's the Schwarzenegger and DeVito one, probably.
Roll call says around the time Twins came out.
I've seen Twins.
Yeah.
I have seen Twins. Great movie, that.
Yeah, that's Schwarzenegger and DeVito.
Okay, yeah, I'm mixing up 7 movies here. So, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot probably has nothing to do with the train at all. Tough police sergeant's overbearing mother comes to visit him and begins to meddle in his life and career. And it was like at the Where's the Beef thing. So it was funny, this little old lady with a giant python saying like, "Stop, motherfucker," or whatever the hell she said.
Well, don't forget, he wasn't married. He was single. She wanted it, better for him and all that stuff.
Angelina
wanted to be a cop too.
Angelina, it was one of the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the Golden Girls.
I still get it, yeah.
Oh, it was Sophia, one of my faves. I mean, they're all my favorites, but all right.
So now you're gonna go see it. It's Golden Girls with a gun and Cobra.
Oh, heck yeah.
Golden Girls would have been better if Cobra was one of their daughters or one of their sons. And come over every once in a while.
That would have been interesting.
Not Rambo, because that would have been sacrilege, but Cobra could have come in. That would have been good. All right, so let's not forget that in 1599, Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of England from 1653 to 1658, was born.
You hear that, Bob?
Cromwell?
Also, Tosh is probably out there. He already knows this. 1874, Guillermo Marconi, the Italian physicist, invented the radio. He was born today in 1894 or
I
1870.
think that's why Hosh is not in here because he's having a party.
Oh yeah, they're having a giant radio nerd party. They're trying to reach him through the radios waves.
Those guys drink like a bat out of hell. So it is a party.
You talking about ham radio people?
Yeah,
Are you a ham radio person?
I'm not a ham, but I'm a ham radio person, yes.
Oh, I'm going to be a ham radio person soon.
I hope to be taking mine soon as well. Just the basic one, though. Just a technician license.
The easy one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Same
not smart enough to do the next one.
All right. Well, so at that point, we want to welcome the 40 people that are watching. It's a pretty decent turnout for Tuesday evening. We do appreciate the people that watch the show live, even though it looks like a good 11 of you are stealing the show, thumb-wise. But that's okay. You can listen without giving us a thumb. We're going to still do the show. We talk about a gun shop every day. Thanks to John, we talked about a New York shop today. We tried to talk about a gun movie. Thanks to the audience, we talked about that one. We talk about history, so you have something to talk about at the gun shops or the gun shows or the range or the water cooler. And today was Second Amendment Day, so we talked about New York and some issues. So with that, we'll shut it down. I think we're right around an hour since we started a little bit late. Again, we appreciate everybody that watches the show live, especially through the transition here, changing up the format. I've been talking to a guy on Instagram and listening to some stuff, trying to get motivated and figure out what direction to take out of the different projects and stuff. And hoping to do more with the interviews and things. Since we do the show so late, I'm going to be doing the interviews during the day and then rebroadcasting them here. So I don't know if anybody, John, I know you've offered to help out with stuff in the past. If that offer still stands, I might take you up on helping with that. Not sure what exactly, but anybody who's interested in collaborating and keeping the various projects going, we'll be looking forward to help with that as we go forward here. It's going to be tougher and tougher to make ends meet. So hoping to get some extra hands on board. Jimmy and others have real life stuff that's taken time from them. So trying to kind of reassess and reschedule all the different tasks that need to get done. So again, thanks for everybody that participates and all the different things that are happening that make gun channels what it is and keep the gun community growing from the grass up and not just trickle down from people that have the resources to drop their agenda-based content down on us. It's been fun watching all that, and it continues to be fun. Listening to Sandhills earlier today was inspiring with his viral video, and it's going to be interesting to see as everyone learns from what he learns from that video and how his subs and stuff stick around and leave and grow. So that'll be fun. See Tardot out there. Appreciate all your work. Roll call, thanks for all the support. Even Midnight and his crazy ideas on sandwiches. One day he'll even post his stuff over on Gun Channels on Sunday. So thanks everybody for jumping in. And John, thanks for joining, being a Smeggy and Jimmy today. You did twice the work, so you're going to get both of their paychecks.
Woohoo!
That's good.
Now I can get out of New York.
Should we do a quote and then end this train?
We should probably talk about Early Watch. May or may not be on tomorrow, depending on if Night Strike and Jimmy and Tony all get together. People that may not be up in the mornings. Tony did get through his heart issues. His robot arms went in there and did whatever reconnecting of whatever wires needed to be done. He's checked in a couple of times during the early shows. Like I said, Knives, others will have live stuff throughout the day. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so it'll be Clover and Rick and Matt, and Ellis has been wedging a show in between the nighttime shows and ours. So lots of stuff happening over on the gun channels. And yeah, did you say you have a quote?
I could do a quote.
Oh, do a quote, John.
All right. This one is by Alan M. Dershowitz. And I quote, "Foolish liberals who are trying to read the Second Amendment out of the Constitution by claiming it's not an individual right or that it's too much of a public safety hazard don't see the danger in the big picture. They're courting disaster by encouraging others to use the same means to eliminate portions of the Constitution they don't like." End quote.
And we just got 100% thumb ratio, so thanks for that.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.